Hey everyone, it's White Cross, and you have joined me for the Gold Rookie's First Purchase Volume 4 Fractionals. If you are new to the channel, I appreciate you being with me here today. Hopefully, you will subscribe to the channel so you can see the rest of the videos in this series. And as you graduate from being a Gold Rookie to a Gold Major, you can learn from some of the videos we're producing for some of those more advanced stackers out there. If you are a returning subscriber, thanks again for all of you returning subscribers. We've crested that 550 mark recently, and hopefully we're going to keep on plowing through till we get to 1,000 and more. And if you are a returning viewer but you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe by clicking on that subscribe button down below the title of this video. So the Gold Rookie's First Purchase video series is designed for you folks who have never purchased gold before or are very new to the idea of purchasing gold before. So each of the items that we're talking about in the volumes of this series, I have specifically picked for those new and newer gold buyers. And all of these items have several things in common. And the things that they really have in common are that they're easy to understand, they have a low entry fee, a low price point. They usually have low premiums, and we'll talk about premiums a little bit later. And they have kind of universality. They are recognized by most of the major gold buyers around the world, so they are easy to get in and out of. And hopefully we're providing you with some information to give you that informed first purchase or newer purchases, so you really feel like you've got the confidence and the information that you need to make a well-informed decision on what your early gold purchases should be. So I begin each of my videos with a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to offer financial advice. I'm simply trying to share some of my experiences having bought and sold precious metals and rare coins for the last 30 or 40 years. And I also like to begin each of my videos with a concept, and hopefully we can reintegrate those concepts into the topic of the video later on, and that's hopefully going to be the case here. The definition that we're talking about is also the title of this video from this series, and that is fractionals. What is a fractional? A fractional is simply an easily understood fraction of a full troy ounce. So what I have here is an example of a South African Krugerrand. This is a 1 troy ounce gold coin. These each contain 1 troy ounce of pure gold in them. And a 1 troy ounce coin is a pretty easy to understand topic when you're looking at the daily price of gold on a website like Kitco. You can see what the daily price of gold is, and if you hold a 1 ounce coin or multiples of a 1 ounce coin, it's pretty easy to figure out how much your gold is worth on any given day. But a full troy ounce of gold is a very large purchase for a lot of people in North America and even the rest of the world. So there are fractionals. There are coins that are an easy to understand fraction of a full troy ounce. And they are kind of similar to the coinage that we have in the United States and most of the rest of the world has as well. And that is, we have a half, we have a quarter, and we have a tenth. So they kind of mimic the half dollar, the quarter dollar, or the quarter and the dime. It works kind of the same way. Fractionals are 1/2 of a troy ounce, 1/4 of a troy ounce, and 1/10 of a troy ounce. Now, there are fractions that are off from those. There are fractions that are 2/3 of a troy ounce, and there are fractions that are 1/20th of a troy ounce, 1/25th of a troy ounce, 1/50th of a troy ounce. But most of the time, I feel that those are kind of more gimmicks than they are legitimate fractionals. Fractionals, for our purposes here today, will be 1/2, 1/4, and 1/10 of a troy ounce. And who puts out fractionals? Well, most of the major modern gold bullion coins come also in fractions. So if you are a fan of the American Gold Eagle, the Gold Eagle comes in a full troy ounce, but it also comes in a half troy ounce, a quarter troy ounce, and a 1/10 troy ounce. And that's the same for the Krugerrand, the Canadian Maple, the Australian Nugget, the Austrian Philharmonic, the Mexican Libertad, and really just about any major gold bullion coin that is made today will have those fractionals. The size of the fractionals we've already talked about, usually half ounce down to maybe 1/20th. Again, I don't like those really small fractionals. I think they're more of a gimmick than anything else. So I try to stay with those ones that are right there at the top, half, quarter, and tenth. What are the positives and negatives of fractionals? Well, the reason that I have included fractionals in this Gold Rookie's first purchase is because one of them I think is kind of ideal as a first gold purchase, or one of those first gold purchases if you are newer but maybe not brand new to buying gold. All of the coins that we've talked about in the Rookie Gold Buyers video series have that low price point, and ideally I'm trying to keep you down below $500, and that's based on a current gold price of right around $2,000. So you can see that I'm staying down pretty low. Why am I doing that? I think it's important for you when you're first getting your feet wet in something like gold that you learn by doing, and hopefully you're learning by watching videos like this one. But pitfalls and mistakes are inevitable for everybody. I make them myself after having done this for decades, but I would rather see you make a mistake on a $500 coin, or considerably less than $500, than buying a full troy ounce of something and realizing that you've made a mistake after the fact. So that low price point, one of the reasons why we're talking about this, these fractionals in the Gold Rookie's first purchase video series, is because they do have that low price point. They are a convenient size, and there are many reasons why they are convenient. We'll touch on a few of those in just a moment, but a full troy ounce right now will cost in excess of $2,000. This convenience of having a smaller size works within many people's budgets, but it also works well with the concept of dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is when you set a particular amount that you want to spend on a regular interval, and you spend that amount on gold in this case. And the reason why we dollar cost average is because when gold is high, you are limiting your exposure by only buying that smaller set amount of money. And when gold is low, you are capturing some of that lower price when you are spending your full allotment on gold, and it's lower than it had been, say, in the past when you were buying it. Dollar cost averaging makes a lot of sense. There are some fantastic resources out there on the concept. It's a pretty easy to understand idea. But if you are dollar cost averaging, say, $250, $300, $400, $500 every few months, and you want to buy gold with that, if you're looking at a full troy ounce coin, you need to spend, at least right now, well over $2,000 to be able to acquire something like that. These fractionals will help you stay on that dollar cost averaging budget and limit your exposure when gold prices are high, and capture some of that benefit when gold prices are low. Dollar cost averaging. And we've talked a little bit in some of the other series, especially the larger silver bars. We talked about in the 999 silver bar series, and I'll put a link down below to a couple of those just so you get a flavor for those as well. But one of the concepts we talked about in those videos is divisibility. And what I mean by that is, if you were to buy a $2,000 gold Krugerrand or gold maple, these are the full troy ounce versions of these coins, a gold eagle, a gold Philharmonic, and you suddenly needed to make a household repair, or you needed $500 to fix your car, what are your choices if you've only put your money into full-size gold coins like these? You have to sell the entire amount. You can't sell part of a gold coin. When you go to sell it, you will have to sell the entire amount. What if the price of gold has dropped significantly from when you bought that coin? You are going to take a loss on that $500 that you need to access, but also every other dollar that's contained within this coin, because you must sell the entire coin. So you're taking a hit on every single dollar of that gold coin. And what happens if the price of gold has gone up again before you can get back into your gold positions? If the emergency is past and you find yourself wanting to continue on this journey, if gold prices are up, then you're going to have to re-enter the market at a higher price and pay that higher premium on every single gram of gold contained within these larger gold coins. Fractionals allow you to take advantage of that divisibility. If you need $500 and all you have is quarter ounce gold coins, well, guess what? This quarter ounce gold coin contains about $500 worth of gold right now. Keep in mind that the price of gold fluctuates daily and even by the hour, and it's been fluctuating quite a bit recently. Always check your gold prices before you make any decision. So, some of the positives of fractionals, they have that low price point. If you're talking $2,000 versus $500, a much lower price point. They are a convenient size. They allow you to dollar cost average. And then they have that divisibility in case you need to sell. So there are some definite advantages, some positives to fractionals. But there are some negatives to fractionals as well, and it's important to me that you are arming yourself with as much knowledge as you can. Nobody has the right answer for you except for you. As long as you have the information to make an informed decision, you're probably not going to go wrong. Negatives of fractionals. Generally speaking, the smaller you go with a fractional, the higher the premium. We've talked about premiums a lot in this series and some of the other series that we've released. Premium is simply the amount that you must pay over and above the value of gold. And the premium goes to make the seller's profit. It also covers their expenses and covers the spread if they're buying high and selling low. You will almost always have to pay a premium. So, for example, again, of these quarter gold eagles, if gold is $2,000 an ounce, you won't be able to buy this $500 worth of gold. Remember, this is 1/4 of that $2,000. You won't be able to buy this for $500. You will almost always have to pay a premium on top of the value of the gold as well. And I've got some examples of that. The smaller you go, generally speaking, the higher the premium. This is an example of a 1/10 gold maple. This is Canada's big gold coin. Well, this is a 1/10 version of it anyway. I checked the price on these right before I started shooting the video, and right now this coin is selling, this is again 1/10. So if gold is about $2,000 an ounce, this coin contains right about $200 worth of gold in it. The premium on these coins right now is about $80, and I checked with AppMex. It's one of the sources that I use most often when I'm quoting prices. AppMex.com, one of the larger gold and silver bullion companies online. So $200 worth of gold, the premium about $80 over and above for this coin. That's not per ounce. That's for each one of these 1/10 ounce gold coins. Compare that with the quarter maple, which would be 2.5 times the amount. Those are currently selling for $619 on AppMex. So the smaller you go, generally speaking, the more the premium will be per coin. A large coin, a full troy ounce, generally has the lowest premium. The half, the quarter, and then the 10th have ascending higher premiums, with the 10th usually, but not always, being the highest premium. So those negatives include a generally higher premium the smaller you go. And premiums have been really, really high on these coins in particular recently. In fact, they have been so high, I was reluctant to make a video on fractionals for this Gold Rookies First Purchase video series, simply because the premiums have been so high on these pieces in particular recently. But again, the more information you have, the better your decisions are going to be. So these are still items that you should consider. And maybe by the time you're watching this video, those premiums have started to come down a little bit. But I wanted to give you some examples. A 1/4 Austrian Philharmonic. Philharmonic is Austria's big gold coin, and their fractionals include a 1/4 Philharmonic. Those are currently selling for about $554 on AppMex. A 1/4 gold maple, we just talked about that, selling for about $619. And remember, these quarter ounces contain about $500 worth of gold. So you see the price going up. Philharmonic 554, a little bit more than a 10% premium. That's not outrageous. The maple, $619. That's getting to be awfully high. A quarter Britannia, that's the United Kingdom's newer gold coin series. Those are particularly popular right now. Those quarter Britannias, $655. So you can see how high above the value of the gold you are paying for that premium. Again, a lot of the premium has to do with supply and demand, and those Britannias are particularly hot right now. $655. But even the Britannias can't hold a candle to these quarter gold eagles right now. These are currently selling on APMEX for about $668 each. Again, $500 worth of gold selling for $668 a piece. So you can see those premiums get to be quite high. These premiums seem to be pretty much across the board with all of the fractional coins right now. And again, that's one of the reasons why I was somewhat reluctant to release this video on fractionals. The premium alone on these gold eagles, about $173 per coin. That's about a third of the value of the gold contained within them. Premiums are quite high. So those are some of the negatives. They have generally a higher premium the smaller you go, and the premiums themselves, especially on a lot of these major gold bullion coins, are sky high right now. I've never seen them this high in the 30 or 40 years that I've been doing this. Maybe they will start to come down soon, but they are one of those areas that you should use caution in. If you are still considering a fractional, and again, they do have some positive attributes, some of the things that I think you should consider that may help you along your way as you make this decision. In my opinion, you should probably look at the fractionals that come from the sovereign country closest to you. I'm based in America, so the gold eagles have a lot of benefits. If you're Canadian, the gold maples may have the most benefit for you. If you are in Europe, the Philharmonic. If you're in the UK or one of the other nations of the Commonwealth, the Britannia might make the most sense for you. Why is that? I find in my experience that often the gold buyers in those regions are more comfortable with the countries and the gold that have come from the countries that are closest to them geographically. And I like to remind people to always be looking at that exit strategy. You never know when you're going to have to sell. And it is to your benefit to know that the market of gold buyers around you will probably be at least a little bit more comfortable with the pieces that come from the nation closest to them, and hopefully within the country itself, like in America, the American Eagle, in Canada, the Canadian Maple Leaf. I also try to look for the lowest price point. We talked about some of the premiums on these coins recently, and I use the quarter ounce size as kind of a barometer there, and the quarter ounce for the Philharmonic at $554, certainly a lot more reasonable than the gold quarter eagles at $668. So while you should be looking at those countries that are geographically closest to you, also look at those price points. If it doesn't really matter to you where the coin comes from, or if you have an affinity towards one over another, and that other, the one that you like, has a lower price point, there's a good indication that that should be the one that you should be considering. I like to consider uncirculated examples, and that's kind of a numismatic term, a coin collector term. Most of these are available in special proof condition. Proof isn't technically a condition, it's a manufacturing process. A proof is simply a coin that has been made specifically for collectors. They generally have kind of a mirror-like finish to them. They usually come in larger, more elaborate boxes. There's nothing wrong with collecting proof versions of these coins if that's what you really want, but as a rookie gold buyer, I really think that you should consider the uncirculated example, and all of these are typical uncirculated examples of those coins versus a proof. These all have kind of that dusty matte finish to them. Again, most proofs have almost a mirror-like finish to them. So consider those uncirculateds. Typically, not always, but typically they have a lower price point than those proofs that are really made for specialized collectors. Consider condition. Take your loupe with you. A loupe, again, is an inexpensive magnifying glass, $15 or $20 on Amazon. Take it with you and take a moment, if you're buying these pieces in person, and really get a good look at the front and the back of these coins. If you are offered an opportunity to buy one of several, spend a few moments and take the one that you think has the nicest condition. Your dealer's not going to mind. That's what they're there for. So condition is important. Pick the nicest example. It's going to be part of your physical gold holdings. You might as well get the one that you like. My suggestions, if you have decided that you want to move forward with these fractional pieces, I think the quarter ounce pieces make the most sense. It's one of the reasons why you see quarter ounces here in front of you. Again, these are part of my own physical precious metals holdings. A quarter ounce seems to be one of the most logical pieces when you're buying and logical when you're selling. The half ounce piece may be just a little bit too big. There's no real reason to go with a half ounce. If you have those kinds of resources, it almost makes as much sense to me to go for the full troy ounce versions. So half ounce doesn't make a lot of sense. Quarter ounce still has a fair amount of precious metals involved. You're still talking about a fair amount of dollar value. And when it comes time to that divisibility, if and when you need to sell, I like being able to sell quarter ounces versus a half ounce or a full troy ounce for the reasons we've talked about earlier. By the same token, the 10th ounce pieces don't really seem to answer a question for me. What good is a 1/10 ounce gold coin? It's too small in a lot of ways to really make sense for a gold buyer. I like those quarter ounces. I do have some 10th ounce examples here, but just to give you an idea of scale and perspective, this is a 1/10 Krugerrand versus a full Krugerrand here on the right. This is the full one, obviously. You can see how small this 10th is. To me, it just doesn't make very much sense. I would rather see you get involved with these quarter eagles if you are going to buy an eagle. I like it. It's a reasonable, rational size. The 10th, almost too small. And again, the premiums, the smaller you go, tend to be higher. So if you're buying a 10th eagle and gold is $2,000 an ounce, you're not going to be able to buy that 10th eagle for $200. It's going to cost you $250, $275. So proportionately, the amount that you're paying for those premiums, for those smaller coins in particular, the 10th ounce size, gets to be so high that it gets to the point of being prohibitive, in my opinion. I like the quarter ounce size for that reason. So my suggestions, I like quarter eagles if you are in America. I like quarter maples if you are in Canada. I like the quarter Britannias if you like a beautiful coin that has become quite popular very quickly. I think the United Kingdom's Britannias are a beautiful option, one to certainly consider. Just check those premiums. They do seem to be running a little bit hot right now. Eagles, maples, Britannias. You're not limited to those. One of the beautiful things about buying and selling precious metals is that they really do leave a huge avenue open for whatever it is that you are interested in. These are just some of my suggestions. So, there we go. The Gold Rookies First Purchase Volume 4 Fractionals. You've gotten some examples of the fractionals that are available out there, some of the positives and negatives to fractionals. You've got ultimately my kind of suggestions if you decide that you want to pursue these fractionals. But hopefully you are being very conscious of those premiums right now. They are very high. And there may be other pieces in the other videos in the Gold Rookies First Purchase series that make more sense right now that have considerably smaller premiums. So consider that. The more money you spend on premium, the less money you're spending on precious metals. The Gold Rookies First Purchase Volume 4 Fractionals. If you have any questions about any of the pieces that you see here before you, leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer it if I can. If you have any suggestions of other pieces you'd like to see me cover in the Gold Rookies video series, we will be talking about English sovereigns. We will be talking about pre-1933 United States gold coins, circulating gold coins, in one of the upcoming videos. But if there's any other topics that you'd like to see me cover in this series or any other series, leave a comment down below, and I will certainly take it into consideration, see if I've got the knowledge base and the material that can help us solve whatever questions you have. If you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see us grow this community as much as we can. And as always, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey as you go deeper into the world of physical precious metals.